But for me, it's the storytelling that really is key in this movie, and the fact that it's essentially like a podcaster's movie. It's a movie about storytelling, and there's multiple people telling stories in this movie, and as an audience member, you're captivated by it.
What is up, YouTube? It is Drive By Movies coming at you with another episode of
Fresh Releases.
My name is James.
My name is Blaze.
And this week we're checking out the new movie to Amazon Prime, The Vast of Night, directed by Andrew Patterson.
Hey!
Everyone take the wheel! What's going on? There's something in the sky.
So this is Andrew Patterson's first film, and I feel like we were huge fans of mumblecore back in the day, and I know that's probably sacrilegious, so go ahead and flame us in the comments. I don't care. But Andrew Patterson isn't a name from that, so I'm not going anywhere with that. But I'm just saying I feel like this is Andrew Patterson's first film. It's a really micro budget, low budget type of movie. It premiered on Amazon Prime. But I also feel like it is that just next step evolution of kind of what a mumblecore movie can be nowadays.
Right.
It can be this, basically, the movie's not huge, but the fact that it's premiering on Amazon Prime, like they don't usually purchase that many movies here. Like during quarantine, I guess, it just seems like almost a premiere event. Like I haven't heard anyone talk about the film. I don't know if you have.
I know a couple people are. I know a fellow YouTuber, Chris Stuckman, recently reviewed it, and it's getting rave reviews on Rotten Tomatoes if you check it out. But yeah, I'd say nobody's really talking about it, or like, yeah, it hasn't reached a platform yet. But because everyone's so desperate for content, hopefully it does gain some traction. Because, yeah, like you said, I totally agree with it being like kind of similar to a mumblecore film. But just because there's only talking in a movie, a lot of actions can speak louder than words. And even though it's mainly a dialogue-driven movie, there's still a lot that happens within this movie.
Definitely. I think just to kind of explain what the movie is about, it's about essentially there's this kind of weird occurrences happening in this New Mexico town. This movie's very heavily influenced by the Twilight Zone, and I'm a huge fan of the Twilight Zone. Absolutely hated the remade Twilight Zone that was on CBS All Access. This is just up my alley when it comes to that. It has like this feel of like an old Twilight Zone episode. I wish I could just turn off all the lights in my bedroom, put this thing on, put on a little bit of blue light in the background. Perfect. I felt like this was just that perfect midnight type of movie. It just takes you back perfectly, since it's a period piece, takes place in the 50s. It just, all the dialogue, everyone has these like old-timey accents, the cars, the clothes, everything about it is period drama. It made it so much more enjoyable, and it really reminds me of like when you think about Roswell, New Mexico, what happened there. I mean, we don't know, but what we think about what happened there, this reminded me of like that perfect film that kind of was a time capsule for that event.
Right, yeah. One thing, like, also with everyone talking about like drive-by movies, we're drive-by movies, but drive-in movies is what I meant to say. Drive-in theaters are making a comeback with the coronavirus. So we're still in it. We're still not filming together. You might have noticed we're still filming separately just to be safe. But this is like the perfect movie I would love to see at a drive-in theater. I know it is still available for some people to go see at drive-in theaters. If you're near it, and it is playing near you, I definitely recommend it that way. But first and foremost, I do want to come out and say, though, that this movie isn't for everyone, though. Like, some people might get annoyed. This is right up my alley, and I'd say this movie is actually one of the most inspirational movies I've seen. Just looking up about Andrew Patterson, he was born in 1982, just goes to show you can still come out and be a filmmaker and have such a strong voice with your debut at any age and stuff. So I just wanted to say that was really cool. And just what the hell, this movie is so well directed. Even though the story might not be for everyone, I'd say it's been, I think, since David Robert Mitchell, his debut film, The Myth of American Sleepover. That was a movie where I was just how is this your first movie? This is so well done. Same thing with Ari Aster. I mean, I don't know how he got Hereditary to be his first movie. He might have had short films that I'm unaware of, but just like the idea that you come swinging with a movie like this and it's that well made and that well done for your first film, so inspirational. I just like can't wait to see what his next movie is and what he can do with like a bigger budget as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think it also is an interesting thing. I agree with everything you said. This film was declined though from, I have a list of film festivals.
It's so upsetting.
It's funny enough. It's funny enough to read. It's just like rejected by Sundance, South by Southwest, Tribeca, Directors Fortnight, Cannes International Critics Week, American Film Festival. It's just like so many festivals, and then world festivals as well, like Athens, Hong Kong, Gold Coast. These are all really big festivals. Even the Hollywood Real Independent Film Festival, that's the one that cracked me up, I think, the most, because I'm like, it's an independent film festival.
Right.
Like, you guys couldn't even... Like, this is a good movie, and if you really enjoy like movies, like, and I'm thinking just so generically, like, I agree that it's not for everyone, but I think that most people could see that this movie is a great film, like, I think it can easily be said this is a great film. If you didn't enjoy it though, you're entitled to your own opinion, like, I definitely can see that there would be people that would think that's just too slow, there's too much dialogue, because there's a lot of dialogue in this film, but I think that it really grounds the film and really gets you invested to the characters and into the stories, and it has like almost this vibe of like telling ghost stories around a campfire, but when it comes to like these alien stories that these people are retelling, like how maybe these aliens have kind of come into their life before, or the people that they know, which that was the most interesting thing to me, and that was what I felt like really just made the film pop out of the screen, and just it felt like something like honestly, the similarities can be drawn to Close Encounters, because I feel like it felt like a Spielberg movie. Like it that's the vibe that I got, at least.
Yeah, there's been like, we've talked about it multiple times on the show, where like some movies, like we see what they're going for, but it just like kind of might feel inauthentic. I thought Super 8 was one of those kind of movies where it felt like it was trying to be his J.J. Abrams version of like E.T. or something. But this one just feels like it's still on its own. Like the goat cart shot, I feel like that's going to be a shot that a lot of people talk about. So much is done with so little that they had, but like they make it count. And like we can have a whole other discussion on film festivals, but just like I always thought film festivals were to recognize voices for people who deserve to be heard and stuff. But now it seems like, you can't get into, I always thought Sundance was that place, but you can't get into Sundance unless you have a big name actor in your movie now. And just like that sucks. Or if you like previously worked on other movies and stuff. And like, yeah, I mean, usually there are some great movies that will come out of Sundance every year. I look forward to each one, but just like, it sucks that there isn't like really, you literally have to go to underground film festivals to find new voices that you want to hear from. And like, it sucks that poor like Andrew Patterson had to deal with that, and like and I'm happy that like he got through one film festival and Amazon picked it up just like that. Yeah,
I'm interested to know, I guess, how it got to Amazon. That's a story for another day for me to uncover myself, I guess. I don't know if that's something that's one of the execs at Amazon had seen. I think this was accepted to Slamdance, if I remember correctly. I know that's a festival that's specifically for first-time filmmakers. So if only there was another festival, because what if this wasn't his first film? Like what if you made something that wasn't as great, and then you come in with that sophomore effort, learn from all your mistakes in the first time around? Like there needs to be a festival then, because if Slamdance didn't show this, like, I don't know if it would have gotten picked up. I don't know if, right now, this is the perfect opportunity for a film like this that is very, micro budget, does everything that it can with very little. It has a voice, debuts a voice for Andrew Patterson. That's something that I would, like you said, you're stoked for his second film. I would love to see, what he can provide us with more. Like if he gets more of a budget behind him, what he can make, because this film is just really, it's like, I wouldn't say it's like the most perfect first movie, but it's just a great debut.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't move on to. I mean, if he works in Hollywood for TV, I mean, kudos for him for landing another job. But I just hope to see him do more movies. Like, this is an interesting alien movie. This is an alien movie I'm not used to watching and stuff, but it's a really cool one and stuff. It kind of reminded me of Sound of My Voice, where it's a lot of talking essentially, but there is some big moments, and when they happen, you're just like, cool, that was very effective and very well done. And I'm glad that we got to see Britt Marling move on to, she got her own Netflix show, as well as working with her friend Batman Glee. It kind of just felt, it reminded me of that, where it's very low budget, but like it speaks so loudly with what they did have.
Yeah, and thinking about that, I feel like I already know what Andrew Patterson's going to be doing next. If you follow the track records of what other artists that are, coming out with these Sundance movies, and maybe even, festivals like Slam Dance, maybe where these artists are getting picked up to do, it's a big on the Marvel circuit. It's big on Disney, is just giving films left and right to filmmakers. I think we've seen throughout this quarantine that there is people getting huge opportunities from Disney right now. So I'm going to call it. I think he's going to be doing Tomorrowland too, a sequel.
Interesting sequel choice. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, kudos for him. I hope we get to see a couple more indie movies out of him. Like I remember Watts, I believe his last name is. He did Clown, then did Cop Car.
Oh, John Watts.
And then Marvel just swooped him up for Spider-Man, and that's going to be the rest of his career. I mean, I'm sure eventually he'll make his way to make whatever he wants when his contract ends. But I wouldn't be surprised if that happens for Mr. Patterson. But like, what a voice for your first movie, though, or like just really well done. Yeah.
Yeah, it also really reminded me of Shane Carruth. Like, I felt like I got, I don't know, I feel like I got vibes of like Primer, where it's just like really small, like kind of heady, not too heady. But something I do want to talk about, like specifically about the movie, like, so are we just are we watching an entire movie within a movie? Like,
yeah, essentially, because I could have did without that intro shot. It was like cool, and like it did feel like a nostalgic factor thrown in there, but like it wasn't needed though, because essentially what we're watching isn't happening. It's an episode. And it also gives you this conversation that doesn't really go anywhere. Like you're like, all right, are we watching a movie within a movie? Then it didn't happen. Well, movies didn't happen as well, so I guess it just I think it's really to just set up that vibe, that this is kind of like gives you the vibe. This is like, hugely influenced by the Twilight Zone. So, I think it was a fun intro, but I think you could get lost in a rabbit hole where you're like, nothing really matters anymore. Whoever did that Rod Serling impression, though, like, I thought that was Rod Serling, like, talking.
So I have to say, if you are interested, if you love like The Outer Limits or Twilight Zone, or you love kind of old timey stuff, and nowadays those movies aren't really doing it for you when it's just all visual effects, nonstop action. I mean, there are visual effects in this movie, but for me it's the storytelling that really is key in this movie, and the fact that it's essentially like a podcaster's movie. It's a movie about storytelling, and there's multiple people telling stories in this movie, and as an audience member you're captivated by it. So I say check it out if you enjoy listening to podcasts, watching old episodes of Twilight Zone or The Outer Limits, or you love science fiction. I think The Vast of Night is going to be right up your alley.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with all that. It's not for everyone, but I think still a lot of people will find something to enjoy. Just don't expect some grand, big budget movie. But if you just watch it as a movie itself, you're going to have a really great time. You're going to love what you see. This is actually something I was stoked to come out of, and like something I'll be talking about and we'll remember till the end of the year. So yeah, great stuff.
Definitely. And we love the support, guys. Love you watching the video for us. Make sure you like, comment down below. Let us know what you thought of The Vast of Night. And if you feel so inclined, the best way to support the show is by clicking the Amazon affiliate link in the description box below.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe to us and hit that notification bell to get all our latest updates on new videos.
That's it for fresh releases. Tune in next week for a brand new video.